I never lose, either I win or I learn. Those are my only options, to whomever it may concern. About to be a hot topic, play with fire, you get burned. Ain't nobody give me nothing, whatever I got, better I earn. I never lose, but I learn. I either win or I learn. Those are my only options, to whomever.
We learned the hard way. We fucked up. We're not perfect, but the lessons we learn in life, they make us who we are, and here we are, starting fresh.
And we're really excited to share our journey going forward with all of you so that we can hold each other accountable through the weight loss journey. Our journey started back in March of 2020. Actually, if you've listened to our podcast, it actually started well before then. We've been, on this weight loss journey pretty much our entire life. But this particular journey, or part of our journey, started in March of 2020, where together we lost over 150 pounds. But then life hit big time in 2021.
Injuries, depression, deciding to sell our home because we needed new space, downsizing with 5 people and 2 dogs and a 2-bedroom house, and all this stuff started to add up where our whole regimen and routine got out of whack, where we were eating trash.
Yeah. And so it really affected our mental state, our physical state. Those of you who have been following along on this journey, I know you can see a difference when you look at us, when you see this on YouTube. And that's why we've started this, our journey. That's what we're calling this, our journey, because it's not just us, it's all of us together. And so we have a whole new page on veganstrongandfit.com called Our Journey, where we're going to be talking about every week something that has led us to success, or maybe failure that we've learned from within the week to overcome and help us to continue on this. How we're going to do this the right way this time to make sure that we're able to support you, you're able to support us, and be sure to go on and follow us every week at veganstrongandfit.com/journey.
We're in this together.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Strong AF podcast. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Yuri.
And tonight we have on one of our favorite types of episodes to do is couples episodes, because it's so great as us being a couple getting to interview other couples, especially vegan couples. And so we're super excited to have on Sheena and Lourenco, who is a husband and wife duo, and they both cook and create recipes and believe that plants are the original diet that we're designed to eat, live, and walk in healing. And they've been vegetarian for years, but they decided to take their lifestyle to the next level. So they actually reached out to KT, the Arch degree, to educate them on becoming vegan. And in doing so, they were able to get them to come out to South Carolina and do a live cooking demonstration for a health seminar for their community. And from there, they were encouraged to not really indulge in the processed veganism and that junk food veganism diet, but to make their own and grow their own food. And so in 2021, they got to meet the host of the National VeganFest, and they were able to sell everything that they brought. And they brought a lot. And people continue to call and ask them when, where, and how they can order. And the rest is history. So welcome to the show. We're so excited to have you both on.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah.
Now, we got to try your food. I guess it's been about a month back now, right? At Vegan Vibes Music Series. And we tried those turkey sliders, and I was like, oh my gosh, those things are so good.
Yeah, because I remember I was staring at the menu and I was like, I don't know what to get. I was like, it all looks good. It sounds good. I was like, well, we're going around supporting just about everybody. So I was like, we'll just grab these sliders right here. And then we went inside, and I want to say, I don't think you had ate one yet. And the kids didn't want any. So I bit into it. I was like, oh my goodness, you're going to want to try this. You have to try this.
The only regret is that we didn't get more. So tell us a little bit about your journey. I mean, I know we talked about it a little bit briefly in your introduction there, but you said that you've been vegetarian for years, and then decided to go vegan. So what really made that change for you?
Well, I want to start with this particular story because I've been married 20 years. So when I met my husband years ago, I was vegetarian. And he said to me, he said, well, if you don't eat meat, then don't cook it for me. And I would say probably that support system is what encouraged me to continue upon my vegetarian journey. And so I think I would say I was always a finicky eater. Like my mom always prepared meats and vegetables, but she would always do me something separate. So I started being vegetarian around 12 years old. And so that was a great encouragement because, you know, most people say, well, you're not going to eat meat or what I'm cooking, then you're not going to eat it all. So I'm very grateful for my mom on that level. And I tried to demonstrate that throughout my family. And I have a daughter that's vegetarian and a son that was vegan as long as I was in control. Then, you know, like all of us, he kind of journeyed back to the meat. And but it's selective. And then one of the things that really encouraged me, he told me, he said, Mom, every time I eat meat, he said, I get sick. Mm-hmm. So that encouraged me as a parent because I know that I gave him that nourishment that he needed. Mm-hmm. As you know, I know that his body had, at one time it had what it needed, but you know, if it was my desire, my choice, I wish the whole world would believe plants can do all things, and that plants are sufficient. And they were the first source of food, and anything after plants is pretty much processed and man-made. And when we eat life, we gain life. And that's how I would like for everybody to receive a meal, not what you're missing, but what you're gaining. And, you know, nothing comes from eating anything dead, but I'm not against, and I don't condemn a diet that way because I have consumed meat throughout my life, and meat is good and it's enjoyable, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, we can't overindulge in things that we enjoy because they may not be as good for us. So I would like to first say that I love to tell that story because you got to have that when you talked about couples, you got to have that common denominator in diet. You can't really be encouraged. You know, sometimes we just in life and in marriage, we have to shut the snacks down. So everybody have to go on a diet when a woman is ready to diet. Right? You can't have chips. You can't. You open the refrigerator, you're like, what is going on in this house? And you're like, Mama on the diet. No? And so, you know, and I believe that. I believe in the foundational principles that the man is the sole provider, and he works hard, and you don't take that from women, but that's where the man's purpose is. He's the leader, and I believe the woman provides the food, and she creates the health and the nourishment in the family. She provides that. She's that nourisher. Yeah. And I believe in that. And so I always say, if we get mama right, if mama like vegetables, the whole house gonna live a long time.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, just to kind of chime in a little bit, it wasn't really hard for me to make that decision to support her because I wrestled when I was in high school. So I was always on a very, restrictive diet, trying to make sure I kept my weight down. So it was really, really easy for me to transition into it. As a matter of fact, when me and her started dating, I was really just now coming off of, my restricted diet from wrestling because we just graduated, and it was like, okay, I only been eating meat for a few months. It's not hard at all. So, it was just really like the perfect setup, and it was easy for me at least. To do it. And when KT came down, it was not hard. I often have people ask me, was it hard to transition and just cut, all meats, all dairy, all of it out? And I always tell them, no, it really wasn't, because I eat to enjoy, right? So if you feed me good food, I'm going to eat it. And that's just it. It's just an added benefit that the food that I eat, the plants that I eat, add so much more life to me. Whereas, you know, there's a lot of, you know, one thing that I always remember that KT said was that when you eat, you should never feel sleepy, because food is supposed to be your fuel. So if you are sleepy after you've eaten, then obviously you're not eating the fuel. And that has always been something that really, really stuck to me when he said it. And I was just like, and I can say, you know, after years of being plant-based, I do not get sleepy after I eat. My energy level is out of the world. I'm 42 years old. Everybody say, man, you look like you're in your 20s. Well, hey, I'm 42. So you know, I have to really just kind of say it wasn't a hard transition for me. And it's just been awesome. You know, me and her just getting in the kitchen, the kids get in there. We just kind of play around with this, play around with that, and building up to, you know, launching our own business. It was like we were just playing in the kitchen. Hey, this is a restaurant item. Hey, this is a restaurant item. And it was just really, really fun for us to be, you know, just playing around in the kitchen. And, you know, you're eating something, it's like, oh man, it's so good. This is definitely going in the restaurant. So.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love to hear you say that, you know, you eat to enjoy. So feed me something good, I'm going to enjoy it. Because that's the truth. Like, we like to eat, and we would have never been able to transition if the food was nasty. I'm telling you, like, and the thing is, like, when I don't know, maybe it was just me, but I don't feel like it is. But when I transitioned from eating animal products to going vegan, it's like the food just tasted better. Yes. You know, everything, like, you can taste everything so much more, and your palate opens up and everything just changes. And I was like, oh man, this is so much better. I got tired of that stupid baked chicken every night and stuff, you know.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to eat clean or eat healthy and stuff like that. Because you think about it, when we're eating animal flesh, we're eating the same thing over and over. We're just adding different veggies, different macaroni and cheese and all these other casseroles and stuff. You just get sick of it. And then once we started eating plant-based and stuff like that, the food got much better. The taste of it, I know for me, the only way I would eat tomatoes was like in a salad or something like that, or on a burger. And now I'm adding tomatoes just about everything. I'll sit here and slice up a tomato. This is gonna go good with this. This can be whatever. And I got more tomatoes on my plate than anything. I sit here and look, I'm like, man, this is crazy to think where I came from to what it is now. It's just night and day.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's always so fun to put the different colors together, you know, because, you know, like what you're saying, with meat, you pretty much get the same color. Whereas with vegetables, I mean, you've got yellow, you've got red, you've got green, you've got orange, you've got so many different, and you just beautify your plate. And you know, part of eating is looking at it. When it looks good, then, you know, psychologically, your brain is going to automatically tell you it's going to be good.
Yes, exactly.
So it's just awesome to be able to put that variety together. And that's something that we really strive for. It's just, you know, not only making it good, but making it look good as well. So yeah, it's just really cool.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, you've done an amazing job at making it both taste good and look good.
Thank you.
Yes, because I remember when I was walking around, I started coming around the corner, because I was in the back corner when I seen y'all. It's like, what is this, a vegan house show? I was like, oh yeah. Because me, I stalk pages. I'll be on Instagram and I start seeing somewhere. I click on it. I'm like, man, this is in New York. I'm like, man, that's too far. Or I look, like, okay, this is in South Carolina. I'm like, man, I hope they come on over across that border, just on the edge of North Carolina. I don't mind driving an hour, 45 minutes. And then I seen y'all were going to be at the Vegan Vibe series. And then I seen Blue Teaspoon. We had them on. We had Wicked Vegans on before. So I'm like, okay, I know I've got to try these. So I've been dying to try these places, even though we had them on the podcast. So I seen you guys. Like, okay, I've got to have this food. And then we was definitely, it surpassed my expectations. And I was like, oh my goodness, we definitely got to have them on the podcast.
All right, awesome. Just really glad you enjoyed it. And you know, we another thing that KT said is, you know, anytime you cook, don't forget the love. that's the most important ingredient. And so, you know, everything we do, we really try to put that love, you know, no frustration. Matter of fact, if we have like some type of frustration, then it's like, okay, stop cooking. Let's get this straightened out. And, you know, so we really do strive to try to keep that love, that happy environment. My daughter, she was recording us on the iPad, and it was so funny because, you know, music was going and we were just sitting there, you know, cutting up, you know, potatoes and onions and stuff. The music was going. And then I turned around, I was like, she's sitting here just taking selfies with the iPad. And I was like, Marcia. And then, you know, we just start dancing. And I mean, here we are literally working, but we just break out in a little dance section.
It happened Sunday.
And we did it
We was
again
at the Vegan Vibe Sunday, and
Yeah,
the lady, I forget what the theme was, what the genre was, but she was singing the song "If You Want to Go."
Yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah.
basically go on out the door because one monkey don't stop no show. We just had to stop for a
Yeah,
minute
we just
because
started
that
dancing.
song is just so kick. We just said, hold on all the orders. Wait 1 minute, because if you want to go, just go.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
That's
just
the
having
thing.
that environment where, you know, it's the love. Yeah.
That's the thing with the food. When you're eating these high vibrational foods, it just makes you feel better. And like you were saying earlier, Lorenzo, when you're eating this animal flesh and everything, the itis kicks in, especially if you're eating fried foods and all this other stuff. But you sit there and eat it all, so you're like, oh man, I did too much. Oh man, I'm tired. And you start yawning, and next you know you passed out on the couch with your plate on your lap or something crazy. So.
Right.
Can definitely
It's-
resonate with that.
Absolutely.
So
How
I know
long have
you.
y'all been vegan?
We've been vegan for was it maybe
2.5 years?
Okay. All right.
Our
Awesome.
story was I believe I had the kids with me. I was coming back from the Y. I just worked out and I was listening to a podcast, and it was Dr. Sabi's daughter and grandson and son, and she said chicken is the devil. And I'm sitting there, what? Hold on, chicken is the devil. I'm sitting there thinking, I love this devil. Hold on. So I start listening to it, and they're talking about the benefits of a plant-based diet and everything like that. I'm sitting there thinking, man, I'm meant to hear this. This is like from God's mouth to my ears. I needed to hear this. So I start telling Ashley about it. And I'm like, yeah, the plant-based diet, this and that. And she's like, okay, we can just give up meat and all some other stuff. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, Thanksgiving comes around. I can't just have a slice of turkey. It's just like that.
This goes back to what you were saying, Sheena, about how the woman has to hold the nutrition down. Because I was like, no, if we're getting rid of everything in our pantry and our fridge and freezer, like, no, you're not gonna go sit there and have a slice of turkey on Thanksgiving.
Right.
We went from that to pescatarian for a while. And then we would have like meatless Mondays. And then we were like, we don't really want this fish or shrimp or whatever. So then we finally went vegan. And then I had those withdrawals for like 5 days. I'm sitting there like, oh my goodness, I'm dying here. I can't move. I got a migraine.
But you also he went vegan, he went caffeine free, sugar free, everything all at once.
You just went cold
Oh
turkey.
yeah.
We started out, we went alkaline. That's what it was.
Okay. Yeah.
Living by that list of certain foods and vegetables that you can have. And those 5 days I was struggling. And then that day I had woke up and then I was like, oh my goodness, I feel great. I was like, I feel energetic, this and that. And then I lost a lot of weight, got off the blood pressure medicines and all sorts of stuff. Threw that stuff in the trash. And
haven't eaten it for 2.5 years now. And I'm telling you, like, he had to go to the hospital because his blood pressure was 180 over 160. And it was absolutely over the top. And then within a month of going plant-based, he didn't need his medication anymore.
All right.
It is that quick of a turnaround.
Yeah.
The story with that, my older brother, he's like 5 years older than me. And maybe a year or maybe 2 years prior to that, he had a heart attack. And then maybe 2 weeks after that, my dad had a heart attack. So me sitting there hearing all this other stuff, and then the more we started learning about vegan, plant-based lifestyle and everything, the benefits of it, and then here we are living proof that it's definitely a game changer.
Right.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
So I know you said that when you started going vegan, you started playing around in the kitchen and everything, and coming up with all kind of ideas. But how did you take these big ideas and actually form it into your own business?
Well,
How did we do it?
well, let me say,
How did we get here?
how did I get here? But I will say that I come from a line of cooks. And I will say that so that I'm not going to sit on this call like I just landed here. I come from a long line of cooks. My grandmother was a major influence in my life. I have family members that own restaurants. They're not plant-based, but they own restaurants. And my mom, my dad, and my mom, I won't say because I don't want neither one of them to really hear me say which is the better cook. My dad is a bad guy. I mean, he taught me some of the essentials of making gravy, how to cook your flour. Because I'm my taste palette.
Don't get a secret sauce.
Is unique. I used to say, well, what makes it like this? He used to say, well, people don't cook their flour. He was in the military and he was a cook, and he didn't do it for a living. He actually was a plumber and electrician, but he cooked for a lot of years, just to make a living in the military. So my siblings, I have a sister that's a chef, and she's a major component to the sauces that we make. Because when I was not vegan, she would just say, Sheena, a lot of stuff that we buy at the store, you could just make, So she was instrumental in all the sauces that I make, and I passed that down to my daughter. I'm like, I don't make any of the sauces. I don't make any of our desserts. I don't make our juices. Because my daughter is a sauce chemist. She's a drink queen, and I can just hand that over. So, and that's one thing I like about our particular establishment cannot run with one person. Like my husband does all of the substitute prep work. I don't do it at all. It just comes to me and I cook it and prepare it. And I mean, I don't even know how to wash the flour. I'm not even good at it. I have to ask them, like, if I wash the flour, it's gonna be a bad washing. So, and that's the beautiful thing about our establishment. It's not one hand, it's so many hands. And most of our recipes that are really our key sellers, like our nachos, some of the things that we sell the most, like the chicken, I just fry. I'm responsible for the batter, and then I got to make it good, but it comes to me good. But the recipes are really my husband. Like I'm more of a plant-based, I probably have never had meat substitutes and things like that. But my son, my husband, you're going to give them some texture. You're going to create some texture. And I'm okay with that. But the goodness comes from him, like somebody putting barbecue and ranch together. I'm not even a sauce person. Like, I don't even like a lot of sauce, but they make it good and I go with it. And I think that's probably that's what I want to communicate to anyone that listen, that, it's not one person in any kitchen. It's not one person, no matter where we go. If it's one person doing the work, it won't last long, because this is a young person business. It's a lot of standing, a lot of transporting, a lot of preparing, a lot of hours. The more customers you have, the more food you have to, produce. It's a lot. So I'm grateful for that.
I love that you're able to do it as a family business and to have your daughter involved in everything as well. That's really incredible. And to teach her also that more entrepreneurial mindset at a young age.
And back to these nachos, you just made me remember something. I remember sitting there, I was sitting there, where'd you get those nachos from? They was like, we got it from got it from them. I was like, oh man, I'd have missed out on that. I was like, now I got to go over here, so I can't go back over there. It's just those nachos, they looked amazing.
Yeah, and you know, I hate to say it, but we have people that come weekly, like they say they have to get their vegan house shack fixed. and I'm gonna be honest. We eat a nacho a week.
Yeah.
And I'm not a leftover eater. Like I have a real short attention span, palate span. Let me say palate span. Like when you cook food a lot, you just can't, you know, it can be good food, but you know, they say most people that work in restaurants don't eat the food. But I eat a nacho a week.
Yeah.
That thing was loaded when I seen it. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nacho a week for sure.
It's always funny, like when we hand it to the customers and they always grab it and they're like, oh, this is heavy. So, you know.
It's funny, I was actually telling the lady this past Saturday when we was operating, I told her, I said, I'm gonna try to make this nacho just like my husband make it. I said, but he had to run out. I said, she said, I believe in you. I said, it's gonna be a little different. Because I truly don't make it. And I remember years ago when we used to have like taco nights and stuff at the house. And I always said, and I don't want this to offend anybody, but skinny people eat the best. So I always used to say, I call my husband Winky, but his name is so I said, make my nacho, because I could never get my nacho like his nacho. I was like, you make my nacho. So that's a true story behind that. He still needs to fix those nachos. Yep.
It's good to feel needed, right?
It is.
That's right. Yeah.
Everybody is needed in this business.
Yes.
Definitely.
But you all have things, I'm sure, in your life and just your marriage that you know one can do. You feel like one can do better than you. I know you can relate to what I'm saying. And
100%.
Don't have that person, you're like, I don't think I can do this. It's like a feeling of inadequacy. But,
Yeah.
So, you know, but I hope to one day be able to make everything on the truck.
I don't want to make everything. I need her.
I feel you. I don't think that this house would run if it was just one of us. Either way.
That's
Yeah.
I can agree, because we homeschool our kids. Ashley works from home, so on my days off, when she's in there working and I got all three of them, trying to get one over here isolated doing his work, trying to get these other two over here, trying to get one to stop from turning around looking at the television. I'm like, come on, y'all are killing me. And then she'll come out of there and she's like, okay, I think you need a break. I'm like, yeah, tag me out of here.
Yeah, we know all about that.
Yeah.
We homeschooled our kids, so but you know, I had one that was really goal oriented, self-sufficient. Then I had one that I kind of had to encourage a lot and push.
A lot.
I was in school, put me back in school.
Yeah, I feel that. Our 5-year-old, he has like 0 attention span. He's the kid that doesn't sleep. He has no attention span and like way too much energy. It doesn't matter how many sports and activities we put him in. I feel like none of it wears him out.
Yeah, he's the kid that while we were sitting here recording, we're sitting here looking at each other like, oh my goodness, I hope they can't hear that. He's upstairs right above us, just screaming his ears off. And then she's over here tapping me, you go do it. I'm sitting here like, no, I don't want to go up there. And then that's when y'all notice her walk away, because she's up there. I can hear him up there. Because it's already happened in the episode before, where he's up there having a meltdown, a fit, and everything. But it was great content, just like this one. We learned from that one. We kept it rolling instead of like, hold on, guys, we got to take care of something. Sorry for this.
We are definitely parents who work at home, and anyone who listens to our podcast knows that they may hear an interruption once in a while, and that is okay. That's what life is about. We just keep on moving.
It makes you real. It makes everybody realize that, we are real people.
Yeah.
Just sharing our experience. Yeah. So.
Yeah,
Awesome.
exactly.
Yeah, for you, Lorenzo, you had mentioned that when you was in high school and wrestling, you said you were coming off of something. Where you what kind of food restrictions were you having before you went into the plant-based lifestyle?
So I wasn't eating any like pork, beef. I really only ate chicken, fish, and turkey. Because at that time, following the Western diet, it was just like, well, white meats are, healthier. So I was just sticking with those because that's what I was under the impression that was a much more healthier meat. And I know it's a debate whether it is. I'm on the side now, obviously, that meats are just not good for you. I watched a documentary. I'm sure you guys have watched that documentary, Game Changers. And they went through and was showing how chicken, for example, is a contributor to cancer. That was information that would have been nice to know, when I was in high school. But just to answer your question, it was just chicken, fish, and turkey. So no beef, no pork, or anything like that. So like I said, it was just 3 more, and then I was good. Check those off the list.
That's the thing, like you're saying, with these documentaries, you learn so much because with, what was that, Seaspiracy, you learn about the fish industry and all the mercury and all this. Because I believe they say that's like one of the worst meats you can eat, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my goodness, that's like the one everybody goes to before they go plant-based or something like that.
Right.
It's just crazy. The stuff you learn, the stuff we had no clue growing up, and then. Like you said, we think, okay, we're eating this, we're eating chitlins, we're eating pig feet, we're eating everything we can get our hands on coming up in the South, and they're calling it soul food, and knowing that it's actually slave food. It's just horrible for us.
Right.
If it weren't for those documentaries and that education that we got from doing that and other research and talking to other people who are vegan, I don't think that we would have had the motivation to stay vegan just for health reasons. It was really learning about not only the health, but the animals and the environment and how everything is intermingled and reacts together and all of the changes. That's what I think kept us vegan.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
I agree. And sometimes, to be honest with you, I revisit just for the knowledge so that I don't become habitual. I just revisit some of those documentaries so that I can remember why I do what I'm doing. Because sometimes when you go and you brought down to an option, that's where I am in my vegan journey. I'm so tired of an option. Like, you just try to throw an option at me. And I'm like, don't try to satisfy me with an option as if, we'll just throw something on the menu just to help you. We got to take this off. I mean, you don't strip the whole thing. What made it good? You don't take it out. I guess I think that's where I'm at. Like, just don't make me another option.
Right.
Please put me on the menu, but not as an option.
Right. No, I 100% agree. It's so hard. Like, and if you don't want to go, like, we're in Mooresville, so if we don't want to drive an hour to go to Charlotte, it's all options. And if I don't want to feel like going out, I've got to look at DoorDash, and I'm like, okay, there's my little 5 restaurants that I can get something at, and so it's like, come on, give me something here.
That's just like today. I'm sorry, that's just like today. We were out at Ninja Nation. Our kids were doing their thing and everything. We're sitting here like, it's late. It's almost 6 o'clock. What are we having for dinner? And we're sitting here, I'm naming Indian food. She's like, no, I don't really want that. And she's naming this. I'm like, no, I don't want that. And the kids are always Burger King. And I'm like, no, I don't want that. And then we finally was like, okay, we'll have pizza. That's what it is. So yeah, there's very limited options, like you said. Never the whole restaurant where you don't have to worry about it unless we drive.
You got the Impossible Whopper. You got mod pizza with some dairy-free cheese, and you got some Indian food, and that's pretty much all there is.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes, you know, you can go a long time not craving or wanting any of them. You know, like I don't Chipotle out.
Oh yeah.
I'm all out. You know? We did have Indian the other night because, you know, surprisingly, they really tap into a lot of the herbs and the spices, which make the food good and wholesome. Yeah. So a lot of their, you know, I was looking at their menu the other night. We went to Saffron's and I was didn't see any pork, didn't see any beef, and I was just, you know, I know food is connected to faith, and I know that Indians have, and you know, they're very strong and connected to religious beliefs. Even they close a certain time throughout the day for sacrificial offerings and things like that. But it just felt good. I went and I looked at the menu and they had such a long list of vegetarian and vegan options. So it's like you said, it's a go-to because even some of the things that they fry, they'll tell you that it's not, you know, egg batter, it's chickpea batter, you know, and it just kind of helps you, you know, because
our local one, they have these assorted fried vegetable platter. It's all chickpea battered. So good.
So good. When you're craving it, it's so good.
Yeah, when you're craving
it. Oh boy.
That's one of those things when we always get Indian food. For me, I like spice, and that's one of the places that gets the spice to where I'm sitting there sweating and I'm like, but it still has the flavor to it. It's not just overpowering where all you taste is heat. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this stuff is so good. I can't stop eating it, but maybe I should.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that that's one of the biggest things is that flavor profile and pulling that in, because even if you're eating meat, you're not going to eat just plain meat. You're going to season it up, right? You have to put those flavorings into it. And that's the same thing with vegan food and what you're doing with your food that you're creating, and it's putting in those different flavors and textures and combinations. And it's the same thing that you have to do regardless of whether you're plant-based or not. You're just making it a lot healthier options.
And that's one of the things that, you know, I feel like a lot of the times when you go to those options, you know, they just throw some asparagus and you go, and I'm like, herbs, you ever heard of parsley? I mean, anything. I mean, can I get anything? And so that's one of those things that, you know, you really kind of feel like you get left out almost when you're going out. You just simply want to have a good meal with your family, but you're stuck in the options section, and you know, it's like two little lines at the bottom right of the menu, and you know. But then you have to ask, hey, did you fry this in the same grease that you fried your chicken nuggets? Oh, well, yeah, we did. Oh, well, thanks. I guess I'll eat that lettuce over there.
Yeah, and, you know, it's people like you who are bringing these options to us so that we don't have to or bringing these menus to us so we don't have to just have options, right? And that's so incredible. And that's part of the reason why I love like the festivals and things that you guys come to as well, because I can tell my kids, hey, you don't have to like be particular about what you get here. You can have whatever you see. Like this is anything here you can have. It's nice to have those options because we don't have that very often. And so when we get into a situation like that, and we have these big festivals where we know that everything is good and wholesome, then we can just have our pick.
I love that.
It feels good. It really does when you just can just, you know, people often they'll come back and say, you know, are you sure this is vegan? Like, And I'm like, I would never put another piece of meat in my body. So I'm gonna feed you what I'm gonna eat. So we
I love those responses though. I think that's that really just showcases what all you can do with plants.
Yeah.
So I know when I had that slider and I taste that ranch dressing, it's like, hold on.
Wait a minute.
This is giving me a flashback. I'm sitting there looking at it. I'm like, well, yeah, this is official right here. I'm like, I should got more of this. This ain't gonna do it.
Blame the cook.
He tried to hide that second slider from me. He's like, you might be getting full over there. I'm like, no, I want to eat that.
Yeah. We all need ranch to survive.
That is right.
Good.
Yeah, good ranch.
We need. I'll take my ranch with me everywhere I go. Everywhere I go.
That's exactly right.
Because if they fall short, I gotta pick me up.
Yeah. For those times when they do cook the vegetables with no seasoning, don't worry, we got our ranch.
Right. Yeah.
That's similar to when, what was that, a while back we went to Olive Garden and we had the salad or whatever and couldn't have any dressing, but we had whatever kind of dressing we brought from home.
Yeah.
Actually put it out of a purse. Like, we've got something. Like, I don't even think they had like oil and vinegar or something like that.
They probably did, but I was looking for a little more flavor in there. Yeah. But yeah, bringing our own stuff, that happens quite a bit as well. It's like the little condiments and things like that. Right. Oh, we have had an amazing time getting to know you and learning more about you and your business tonight. One of the biggest questions that we used to start off our podcast with, and we're wanting to get back into this because it really does showcase who you are and what makes you strong. And that's what we want to know tonight from each of you. What makes you strong?
If you're gonna ask the question, you gotta ask the question like, where do you get your strength from?
Where do I get my strength from? Do you want me to answer that, Ella?
Answer it honestly.
You want me to answer that? Do you mean what makes us strong and what we're doing for us to restaurant establishment, or as a human, as a person?
As a human.
Okay, as a person. Well, I'm gonna have to tell you, for me, it's gonna be family. It's gonna be my foundational family inside my home. That is the ultimate, because from the moment that I put my hands to anything, I know that I have my husband, I have my daughter, I have my son. They never let me down. And I will hope that I am the same thing to them. But I'm gonna have to say family, because it's a proverb. It's called Ubuntu, and it means that I am because we are, meaning that we never stand alone. And we shouldn't. When I have this mindset that when you love somebody, you'll be loyal to them and you'll never disrespect them. And that's the true epitome of love. You're always going to have that undergirding of that support. It's not about whether you want to do it or you don't want to do it. It's about the love that you have for who's doing it. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for family. That's what my strength is. I wouldn't do anything that I'm doing if I did not have my family. I'd probably just really do what a lot of people do, just come home after work and sit down and watch TV.
So for me, I hate to repeat, but it's family. She is like my first and only love. Even when I was in high school, I always would approach a female, like if I was going to date somebody, not like I've dated a lot, but I would always kind of have in my mind, could I marry her? And she's the first and only woman that I said, yeah, I can marry her. And she is I always tell her that, she is every man's dream. Mine just came true. And just having that love and that support and that, just somebody that you can really just chill with, be that first and that last call of the day. And she's just been that motivation. I remember when we was dating, she's always been very goal oriented, business minded. And I just remember when we were dating, she, just kind of grabbed me and hugged me. And she said, there's some things that's going to have to change in you because you'll hold me back. And I mean, like, wow, like mind blown. And I knew I really had to step up my game, and I really had to make necessary changes immediately so that, otherwise you're going to lose this dream. So that really just helped me to say, all right, Fowler, let's get yourself together. What do you need to do to position yourself? Because I really, really do believe that, women are jewels. You got to find it. They're just not just another accomplishment. You find a jewel when you find that wife. And I found mine, and she's gave me 2 beautiful children. Get on my nerves, but they are still beautiful children. So just to keep this smile on her face, that's my motivation. That's what centers me. That's what grounds me. That is my high. Yeah. So I have to thank my creator for sending such a beautiful jewel in my life.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And
Yeah.
where can all of our listeners connect with you? Where can they find you and all of your upcoming events?
If you follow us on Instagram or Facebook, it's Vegan House Shack. Like I said, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. You can always call on TikTok, or you can always reach out to us, text or phone call 864-692-3489.
Or through the website.
veganhouseshack.com. Yeah. We're looking forward to feeding you.
Oh, most definitely.
They will feed you.
Thank you again for coming on tonight. We had an amazing time.
Absolutely.
Nice to meet y'all again.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to the Strong AF podcast. We hope you really enjoyed this episode.
Just do us a favor, go on the Apple Podcast, leave us a 5-star review, let us know how you enjoyed the episode. And if you're watching this on YouTube, just drop us a couple comments. We love hearing from you guys.
Yeah, we always love hearing your feedback, and let us know what you'd like to hear more of as well.